Top 5! Woo! Motherfucker! Oh, fuck. Shit. Oh.
You
That was
scared
so loud.
me.
Yeah, that was so loud.
I knew it was coming, and I still was like, "What the fuck is happening?"
He knew I was coming.
I mean, you told me. You said, "Ooh, ooh, Daddy Rod, I'm coming," and I said, "Okay," and it still scared me.
That's the sound it makes.
You went, "Ooh." We were talking about how loud cocks were before we started recording, and I don't even know how we got in here.
That's the baby
which-
making metal? Is that what you're talking about?
I mean, that also, dude. My stream got crazy because I'm playing a Yakuza spin-off game called Lost Judgment, and there's this old dude who makes potions. Like, he's an old homeless dude who makes potions, and he was talking about eating latex and shit like that. And then my chat's going off about baby gravy and eating condoms, and it was just, I was like, I was going, how the
So
fuck
a
did I
normal stream is what you're getting at.
I mean, kind of, but it was more chaotic. I don't fucking know, man. It was chaos. So, how the fuck are you two, you beautiful people?
Sleepy.
Yeah, I think that's a consensus around here. We're all fucking, it's past our bedtime.
Yeah,
it is.
yeah. And I'm
It's
sick.
Ken has been sick for like years now.
Yes,
It-
I'm dying.
just- Don't die.
It's too late.
You're a zombie. But Josh, what about you? How you doing? Just sleepy?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I'm just sleepy. That's it.
I could tell you're sitting down, which is an unusual scenario for Josh. Like, he usually, if you don't watch the video, Josh usually records standing up. So,
Well, I've been
also-
standing at this desk since I got it, and
Yeah.
I think it's been fucking up my shoulders and back and stuff. So I sat yesterday, and my shoulders stopped hurting. So I was like, all right, I'm just gonna sit for a bit until I can.
Look
yeah.
at the sticker. It is the best sticker ever. It says, "Get tattoos, cuddle puppies." Get tattoos, cuddle puppies. It's
That's
wonderful.
cute.
It's
Is that
wonderful.
from your
My tat-
tattoo shop?
It's from my tattoo artist. Yeah, she has her stickers. And she also has a kitty one, I guess, but I do not. I got the puppy one.
Well, you have a lot of dogs.
Yeah. I mean, I have one dog really at this point. But that's
Oh, okay.
that's a down the road thing. But guys, we are Murder Moose Podcast, part of the Slash and Cast Podcast Network.
It's in the game.
It is.
It's in the game.
It's in the game. In the game of life. We are here. We missed last week because like Ken lost her gear across the space and time, and Josh and I were both tired, and we weren't gonna do their best of 2023 without Ken. So here we are, a week later. This is this episode 170, right, Josh? Yep.
Yep.
It is.
Yep.
It
Yeah.
is. So we're doing our top 5, and I think all three of us have like runner-up things that we'll spend way less time with. But
And I
Um,
totally forgot one of mine. I just saw it pop
Well-
up and I was like, fuck, that should have been on my list.
I only did because I put together like the poster things that can come up on the screen for the YouTube or whatever, and I only did whatever you sent for just the top one. So whatever you sent was the top one is the honorable mention thing. So I have one. And you guys have a bunch, but I only have one poster. So if you want to say the other ones,
okay,
I'm only going to put
That's
up
fine.
the one poster.
cool. Okay, before we get into anything,
Also,
you guys want?
before we go any further, just really quick, make sure you're going to check out this YouTube video because Josh has put in a lot of work into this and it looks really slick. So make sure you come check it out. The transitions are sick, the art's sick, so come by the
Top
YouTube channel.
Okay.
Josh, I love you. I love your silly Canadian ass. I love your silly Canadian ass. All you Canadians, man.
There's my
All
ass.
you can. Yes. Your ass and your loud ass dick. I decided when I got all my my last tattoo, I'm gonna probably make most of my arm like space themed. So they're gonna be more space things. I'm going to get an otter with a space element. I think next is going to be my next tattoo, but I don't know when that's going to happen.
Space otter?
It's a space otter. Yes.
Okay.
A space otter.
That's otter.
That's otter this world.
Oh, that was, dude. I like that. I like that dad joke I told you that I found out it was on a dating profile, Ken, the Darth Vader one. I think I wrote that on someone else's dating profile that was like talking about dad jokes, and so here we are. And I was like, look at me, who could resist?
You're like, I already know the person that has the best dad jokes, and it's not a fucking dad. It's my friend Ken. Okay, so shut up.
Actually, Ken is runner up to Leaf, as we all know. Leaf. There's a guy, Josh, who comes into my chat. He came in and dropped something earlier tonight, and then he does it to Ken and just always has ammunition. This motherfucker knows every dad joke in the world.
Because he made them.
Probably. Probably. I
Or
lowered
Chuck
my
Norris
camera.
did.
I lowered my camera so you could see Pop Funkos now, and that were have been sitting there for over a year because I didn't know what to do with them. That were a bunch of Christmas presents last year, so they just sit. They're a bunch of horror ones, but you can't really see because they're so far back. But
put them
they're
like
just kinda
this.
I don't have anything to put. I'm in a giant room, Josh.
So am I.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to move shit around, and I don't know how long.
This
I'm
is
gonna
my
be
whole
here,
basement. It's one room.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else you guys want to go into before we go and do our top movies of 2023, horror movies of 2023?
Stop!
Sorry.
Ken is
That was
sneezing.
the worst sneeze ever. I apologize.
Ken, what do I tell you over and over again? Stop apologizing.
Suck my dick.
I mean,
Is that what he says
That's
to you
besides-
all the time?
Yes. All the
don't-
time.
I've
I
never
need
said
to
that. Ken.
file a claim with HR.
Okay,
No,
if
didn't I
anyone
say
is
that
sexually
last
harassing
episode?
anyone here, it is you, Ken.
Why do people keep saying that to me lately?
I wonder why.
Because
Ken.
they love you.
Yeah. Oh man, I had to turn my mic. I was getting real loud there. Okay, we are going to do our top 5 apiece. So Josh has an Josh. What's the order of this?
It doesn't matter. Whoever starts, it will go like that and then back around.
Okay, so do you want to do your honorable mention first, Josh, and then we'll go from there?
I was gonna leave the honorable mention till last, or I
Okay,
guess
we
could
could
do an honorable mention, but whatever.
I don't care. I thought that it's our runner-ups to and then we just end up on whatever was first.
No,
I don't
because that would
care.
kind of give it away. I do the top 5, and then be like, you know what,
Okay.
it was close, but it didn't make the cut, and it was this one. Because then
Okay,
you
cool.
don't have to talk about it, right?
I mean, I don't mind. Yeah, whatever. You go first, Josh, and then just start whatever your number 5 is then.
Okay, number 5.
Wait,
What?
What's that?
are you starting with 5?
Yeah, 5.
Number 5.
It's a countdown. My number 5, and honestly, I didn't think this was gonna. Looking back, I didn't know if this was gonna make my list or not, and it did. Influencer, because of my unique situation that I'm in. This movie was fucking terrifying, in a different way, and I loved how it used something that I am being the horrific events of my life are because of a female that could look so unassuming, but this movie did that fucking well, and it was I was thinking about this movie for several days after, and my honorable mention was one that I was also thinking about, but it was a close call on that one, and it's fun. I love seeing your guys' lists because you don't know my list. I know your guys' list. And it was like,
Yeah.
oh, fuck, there's some similarities and stuff, but I love to see where movies kind of influenced one another a little bit more. And this one was the only one that influenced me. So, hey, we're here.
Dude, I mean, the thing with this year, and there was a lot of good movies. There weren't as many great movies as last year. There were a lot of things I really enjoyed. Don't get me wrong.
Not a lot of standout. Like last year,
it was,
or was it the year before?
yeah.
We were just like,
No,
what?
it was
No, it was last year. Fuck.
Yeah,
There was so many
it was 2022.
bangers.
Yeah. It's
Bangers.
instead of and this year was a lot of good stuff, and I'm just like, but outside my top 2 you could have like everything else is pretty much like could have been moved around a lot depending
yeah.
on what the day and time was. I kind of just was like this sounds okay, so yeah, Influencer is good, man, and it's one of those things where it's like it's one of those movies that I think does a lot of really cool things when it comes to like giving you expectations and then fucking with you. It's like it was like a Barbarian, right? Where like
That's what I was going to
you
bring up.
change-
Like, well, that was our
Yeah.
number. It was a consensus last year. Barbarian just like it sucked all our
Yeah.
dicks really good. Like
it did. It was like it was the sloppiest dick sucking of all time.
Oh,
It was a good time. And yeah, it has that thing where it's like where it changes up. I mean, it's a pretty old trope in horror, right? I mean, you go back to fucking Psycho. Psycho's I don't know how many did it before Psycho, but Psycho is such a influential movie, and the whole like you killed the main character halfway through, and now we have like Terrifier 1, like the whole like opening cast gets killed in the first half, right? So there's a lot of things like that where like it's this influential thing, but like this movie does it very well in a good way that just like
I can't wait to see
makes-
what they do next because it's kind of one of those more underground films. I've already seen that the actor with the like thing on her face that
Yeah.
in some other movies and stuff. And
she was in It's a Wonderful Knife. She was one of the
Yeah.
like
Yeah. So
yeah.
I
She
can't
was
wait to
the
see.
aunt's partner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, but even the filmmakers of Influencer, because they're like kind of unknown and stuff, and
Mhm.
I always love following careers from like this point. It's like, oh, this is our first one out of the gate, and yeah, it was fucking well done. So that's
And-
my number 5.
Asia is one of those places I haven't been to yet, and Thailand. This is Thailand, I believe, is what was it? And it just made me want to go to Thailand, even though everything else is crazy. Okay, so who's next?
You, Rodder.
Okay, my number
Okay.
5 was when
My
number
number
five.
5.
Number
Oh, there it is.
5.
When Evil Lurks. This movie is fucking metal, man. And I feel like if it wasn't like a lot of the characters in the third act specifically, you just sit there going, "What are you idiots doing?" And which has similarities to like a lot of the things in my runner-up movies. But man, it's just a pretty like. It's from Argentina, right? Argentina was where
Yeah.
it was from, and we
We didn't do this
It's
on
a-
the show, right? We didn't get to it.
did.
Oh yeah,
We
we
did?
did. We did.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we did it on the show, and it just really like was well done, and it was that different kind of thing, and that the scene with the fucking dog
Oh my god.
carrying the toddler around
So good.
away was fucking horrifying, dude. It wasn't like the sadness level of like this is fucked up, like it like it sits there and goes, but it is I think it was one of those movies that like is going to more people are gonna see it. I still think that it being in Spanish is probably gonna be a problem for a lot
Oh,
of
yeah,
people in the long run.
I remember the episode now. Yeah.
Yeah. But like I just think that the movie does a really good job of like kind of doing it's one of those things we talk about all the time where just setting up a world and then not overly explaining everything, but just kind of you pick up the necessary facts as you go. From the big fat dude who reminded me like a bloater from
Oh,
Left 4
yeah.
Dead, and
Two.
like, all the stuff and the evil children and stuff like that. I just think that this movie is really cool and does a lot of unique stuff. And again, that's why one of the reasons why I started this podcast with Josh and everything was to go watch gnarly horror from around the world, because there's a lot of it, so.
I will talk about this movie in a little bit because it is on my list.
Cool. Ken, you're number 5.
Number
Number
5.
5 continues. Number 5.
My number 5 was The Pope's Exorcist. I really liked it because exorcism movies I always find really interesting. I always find them unnerving and creepy, and Russell Crowe did such an awesome job with his character. I don't think we covered it on the show,
We didn't.
but it was fabulous. I definitely recommend it. I felt it took a concept and flipped it on its head. There were some parts that were predictable, but if you get a chance and you like anything remotely related to religion or exorcism, definitely check it out.
That's not one that we did on the show, though, right? Like that one
Right.
was, yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool because I think, whoa, he's just completely frozen out. There he is.
No, yep, I'm back. No, we didn't do it in the show. But like it's one of those things that like there was that, and then there was the god awful Exorcist movie that came out this year, which was just fucking.
I still haven't watched that. I have no desire to watch that.
It's.
I'm glad
not
that there's
good.
some on the lists that aren't on the show as well. Like it'll be good for us to be like, okay, honestly, if any of these movies pique your interest, watch them because they're on our top for a reason. And if
Yeah.
you want to learn a little bit more about any of these movies, go back to the episodes page and watch the episode.
I think everything I did for this list we talked about, even the honorable mentions, but like
I'm
I-
really disappointed that I did not put Talk to Me. Oh, sorry, that's a spoiler, but anyway.
You forgot about that movie or something?
I totally forgot about it and did
Oh.
not put it on my list. So, oops.
It's definitely
Ken.
on mine.
no, I mean it's definitely on mine too. Okay.
Yeah, Ken,
I
you
I will watch
start the
this
4
eventually.
as well.
I'm starting 4.
Yeah. It's number 4 time.
Okay.
I know what your number 4 is.
Number
Number 4. Your number 4 is
Clock. Clock was available on Hulu, and it's a story of a woman that's going through dealing with her biological clock ticking and insisting on, people are wanting her to have kids and she doesn't really want to. And then she goes to this place to try to get that desire to have a child. And it's so twisted and it's not predictable, and it was really well made, and I strongly recommend it. So if you get a chance, it's on Hulu. It does a really great job of holding attention. It's very scary, and I think you'll really enjoy it.
number 4. Woo! Oh,
I don't think. Yeah.
no, we did not do that
it's-
one. I haven't even ever
Yeah.
heard of that one. So you're putting shit on my radar now, and I'm thankful for that because there's a few movies I think I was gonna talk about it the other week. Then I was so tired and out of it, and then I just left. But I had like a list up. It just like came up, and I was like, there's some. I feel like Hollywood is going down too far into the franchise world again, and like Night Swim is out right now, and that's like one of the first movies together with Blumhouse and Atomic. That new partnership.
James Wan's.
Yeah,
James
so
Wan's,
like they
yes.
did Megan together. They're doing this together, and it just, it's like this weird mid-level horror that they're just going to be pumping out, and I'm happy to see it. And I want to go and see Night Swim for sure, but I don't know. I'm sick of the franchises and movies like this, like Clock and stuff. I feel like these are the ones that I want to put my attention on as well because franchises are meh.
I definitely recommend it because, like I said, it caught me off guard. I don't even remember why I started watching it, but I really enjoyed it. And I think, for somebody who's getting ready to have a birthday and is aging and all that jazz, like it definitely resonated. So strongly recommend.
I mean, you're also like a woman in your 30s who
Exactly,
doesn't
which
wanna-
is why
does- that, and you don't want to have children, like so.
Right.
There's another thing that's like it's very like similar to that in a lot of ways, and which is just powerful things that like. Is it a female? I assume from what you've been talking about, it
Mhm.
sounds like it was a female director, but if it wasn't,
I honestly
Yeah.
do not know. Yes, it was.
see, that's I mean, it's. I think that like that French Inside that we talked about this last year was like a female director too, but I don't remember for sure. It's taking those things that are very personal to you and like just showing how horrifying they could be, right? And it's just like, yeah, everyone's fears are different, right? And so it's like just explaining that out and go and do it. That's cool. So I'm definitely interested now. So
Just like Influencer, I'm terrified All right.
I
Oh,
totally
Rod.
forgot about influencer too. Sorry.
Yeah.
Rod, number 4. I got your number
Number
4 right here,
4.
Rod.
Number
Oh!
4, Thanksgiving. So I really like Thanksgiving, man. I think that like Eli Roth is a very, very, very hit or miss director for me. Like he did, like the stuff he did early on, like Hostel is dope, but in Cabin Fever and Hostel, and I really like Cabin Fever too. But like he started doing shit that I'm just like was not interested in. Like remaking his own Cabin Fever is an insane
I
thing.
don't
that
fucking get that. He was
yeah. And I'm just shit like that. And I'm just like, what are you doing? I never saw I don't know about you guys, but those exploitation like Central America movies where they go into the Amazon are not my jam. And
No.
so I never saw The Green Inferno.
I don't know anyone that actually did go and see that movie, actually. So
Yeah, I don't think I saw that. I saw The Ruins.
Yeah.
But
that was a movie that was wild in a lot of ways and didn't expect. And that movie's fucking got some creepy ass shit in it, man. Like the villain of that movie is a like sentient plant being. But I really liked what he did with Thanksgiving. Like it's a very
if you
drawn back
see
to the
any of
80s.
his like if you see any of like the behind the scenes or interviews with him and stuff, I feel like he was like, okay, I get it. I went a little too deep on like just to please me type thing because I made so much money with or he didn't say this personally, but he made a lot more money with the Hostel films for the studio that they're like, okay, and they give him a little more leeway, and then he goes and does like Green Inferno, which just bombed, and the decisions like you were saying with Cabin Fever and stuff, but this was his decision to go, okay, there's a hole in the market and I know all the ingredients, and he did it. It was a fucking enjoyable film.
It's fun. It's does that whole like satire opening that's just like, oh my god, that wrist breaking still stands out to me. And
I hate it.
The woman being turkey basted and the fucking.
I can't wait to meet her. She's coming to HorrorCon this year, so it's gonna be a good one.
Dude, that is still one of the hardest to watch scenes from last year's horror movies. Like that, putting her in, because that's one of those things that just like I still think being burned alive is like a top 5 don't want that to happen kind of ways to go, because you ever think about it, just like what a regular burn feels like and just having your whole body set afire. Shit is horrifying, man. So that movie and the villain was, I really like the mask and the pilgrim outfit, and they did a lot of things.
There was enough.
I had that on my list like 4 times, and then I shuffled it off again.
Yeah,
I don't know. I think they did enough like to make it stand out in like a very saturated market. Like everyone's, kind of trying to do that, and I feel like this year especially was more of a chance, or not a chance, but like people were taking their stabs at it, and this is the one that's on top.
I was watching a bunch of people talk about their favorite movies of 2023, like YouTube horror people, and every time I saw someone put sick on there, I'm like, what am I missing of an hour and 15 minute movie that should have been 45 minutes and had way too much? I feel like that movie kept getting put on lists as like for slashers, and it was.
You know how many fucking lists I saw with Skinamarink as number 1?
I was about to say that.
Like I don't want to, shit on anything, but I don't understand that on the list part. But I think that whole movie now is just a meme on the internet to be polarizing and to get a conversation going, because it is the cilantro of horror, and there is no in between. You either did not like it at all, or you loved it and can't get enough, and it did what you said. Like it unlocked something from when you were a kid. It did not do that for any of us because we're fucking super ADHD, and it just it's not made for us.
That movie, I think you specifically had to have very, 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 very specific childhood like nightmares and shit that like
Yeah.
that, like, and if it didn't with our ADHD, fuck that, man. That movie was way too long, and but yeah, I just think that Thanksgiving was the best slasher that came out all year too. There's nothing else. I think
But
it was
to
better
see
than
a
Scream.
studio, oh yeah, like Scream, it's getting
Dude,
like they've already fucked up huge. That franchise is
Well,
down the toilet.
In that movie, one of the worst third act drops I've ever seen in a horror, and that's two of my movies that are on my fucking like runner-up movies just drop the ball completely in the third act, just completely drop it. So I really like Thanksgiving. I think I liked Eli Roth being simple. I'm interested to see what happens with Borderlands, which is got a crazy cast and
Oh
is-
yeah,
I forgot
going
about
down
that.
that route. Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
with Jack
I don't,
Black
Oh
and-
shit.
yeah.
What? I forget. Oh wait, actually, my number 4 as well. As we're talking about it, it's the same, and I forgot because I don't have my list up in front of me. But I did all these things, so hey, good thing we're talking about it at the same time. Our number 4s are Thanksgiving. Yeah, so it's I don't even seriously. I don't know what my list is. I forget.
I mean, I'm the only reason I have it up because so I can look at it and look at my other stuff. But yeah, it's I mean, you agree, Josh. It's just like it's like that kind of slasher horror from the '80s that we're all
It
Ken, were you
feels
actually born
right.
in the '80s. I didn't
No?
think so. Yeah, she was born in '90, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah. That's
Oh,
I
well,
was
that's
supposed to,
almost.
according to the internet, I was born in 89. It's funny because the internet has my birthday listed as my projected due date, which was in November of 89. And that's not when I was born. But yeah.
The
You were
internet.
supposed to be born in
The
January
internet.
in November, and you were born in January. Which did they have to haul your mom on a crane and
They
pull you
were,
out?
they thought I was going to be born early. And then
Oh.
then they said December. And then I was like, fuck you. I do what I want. And then
Yeah, I was late
January.
too.
Just dude, I was supposed to be born in October. My birthday is in August, so yeah.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. Well, I just assumed my head would have killed my mother, and so yeah. Okay, so Josh, what else? Do you have anything else you want to say about Thanksgiving before we move on to 3?
It was, I think, the most fun for gag scenes all year too, because
Yeah.
a slasher film is kind of made up of you got to have really good gag scenes, and if anyone gets that, it's fucking Eli Roth. He built his career off of just setting up the most gruesome gag scenes in Hostel and stuff, and started a whole new subgenre of horror himself, which
Yeah.
most people will say, well, fuck you, because no one really cares about it anymore because it was a huge fad. But for him to take that and not go all the way up to 11 like he's so used to, and kind of ramp it down to an 8 or something, I loved seeing it in a theater, and I loved seeing it with, there was a group of guys just a little bit down from me, just
Yep.
the best reactions ever. Oh, I love that. It makes the
Dude.
whole experience of seeing a movie so much fucking better when you can just be laughing and it fuck. So I enjoyed
Dude.
it so much more because of that.
Dude, I talked about it on the episode, but I went and saw it on the west side of Cleveland with my sister, and there were many stereotypes that were being projected in that theater that I don't want to say out loud, but all that made it funner because the movie was what it's not a movie where you have to listen to every line of dialogue. It's about it's like a roller coaster of a slash, and it's just fun. You nailed it, Judd. It's just fun. So
That's
Yeah,
what
I
doing
think
this
it's
shit
going to
about.
be one of those classic, forever holiday
Yeah.
films.
It's already got a green light for number 2, so that's I'm happy
Hell
about it.
yeah.
All right, what do we? Oh, hey. All right,
Yeah.
going on to number 3. 3. Oh, look at that! It's my poster. Hey, Evil Dead fucking rise. Okay, I knew this movie was gonna hit my top 10, top 5, whatever list before I even saw it, because I'm a huge fan of Evil Dead. Always have, and I think I always will be. Especially this movie has like solidified that I'm in love with what they're doing now with the franchise. They've figured out that they can use the books in different places at different times and tell different stories of how they've affected people. That is so smart. This movie took a huge concept and then made it a small story size and did it in a building. And anytime you take something and confine it, and then it can meet what the budget constraints are in a way that doesn't feel like a budget constraint, this movie fucking hit it on all cylinders. I fucking had a blast watching it. One of the best cold opens this year by far. So metal. The scalping, fuck, I loved it. The creepy mom. There was great kills as well. Like, yeah, fucking Evil Dead Rise. Metal. Fuck yeah.
It is it's what metal is, man. That's like horror defined as metal, man. And I'm not gonna go into it too much because I'll be talking about it a little bit. But yeah, so I think that their idea though, like, because if you don't know, this movie was originally supposed to just come out on Max, and like they started doing screenings of it and just fucking killed it. And another instance of fucking practical effects just being the fucking only way to do it, because they used like so many gallons of blood making this movie. Like, it was.
They
insane.
also have Sam Raimi and Bruce Campbell on as producers. They're not going to allow this franchise to go down the fucking dumps. Like, they're like, no, we're at the helm. We will make sure that it is, everything is done with class and has to, make sense for the source material that it is like a part of. So I applaud it.
Speaking of Sam Raimi, did I hear they're doing a Drag Me to Hell too? Because like
I heard something too. Yeah.
I feel like I heard that a while back too.
That movie, man, I
loved
it. One of those movies. I love the movie, but it's not something I rewatch at all. Because that final gut punch at the very end,
it's so good.
It's like no, and it's
Ben. I went and saw it with my buddy Ben, obviously right when it came out, and we were like, oh, like yeah, clapping at the end, and people were like, that was the worst fucking movie I've ever seen. As we're leaving the theater, I was like, fuck you.
I love that movie.
That
is a perfect example of PG-13 horror, man. There's some fucked up shit in that movie, and it was
that
PG-13
handkerchief
horror,
was so good, man. That whole scene, he made a handkerchief jump scare people. Like, come on, that was so good.
Dude, the scenes with the old lady and the fucking dead old lady and the fucking goat and like everything in that, and it's just like, yeah, I'm just like that movie is wild for PG. That movie pushes PG-13 horror, right? So
I'm excited to see a sequel. I don't know. All right. Oh, Rod.
Number 3.
It's Rod's turn. Number 3.
Mia Goth makes her first appearance. I think it's the only appearance on this list, but like, man, I love her. I love this movie. It is fucking wild and crazy, and it's that thing where Cronenberg. Say it, Josh.
It's a Cronenberg.
A Cronenberg.
It's the thing that this man does that I fucking love, kind of like his father, but I think he does it better than his father from what I've seen.
He's a way better filmmaker than his father.
He just makes these movies that feel like, I think the first one we did, Josh, was Possessor, and you're just sitting there going, this world's there, and you're not, like I was just talking about it, you go in and live in it, and it's just like this weird fucking thing of like imperialism and what having money means in countries that don't have money, and like what we do. Like, it's taking the idea of like going in, like, you go to these places like Jamaica where you can't leave the resorts because like the people that live there don't have any money and they will fucking kill you for just being shit. And so like they take that and they just amplify it to 10. We got Skarsgård being this like character that you think is like you feel bad for, and then you just kind of hate, and then feel. It's the weirdest shit in the world, and it's just like this thing of, it's what people do. I mean, we were talking about Hostel, right? It's kind of like Hostel in a lot of ways, right? Where you go in to this other place and you turn off your normal, like, everyday 9 to 5 kind of persona and do some heinous shit. And that's kind of what they like. It's the same kind of setup. These people do this, and then just like crazy shit happens. The masks in this movie are fucking fantastic. I love the masks in this movie. I love like it's one of those movies, I haven't watched it since we did it on the podcast, but I'm just like, the movie just like sticks a lot of things in my head, and that's kind of like the last, like, my top 3 especially is very much like moments.
This one
that,
had
like,
me thinking about it like days after type thing too.
Yeah.
Not a lot of movies this year had that like kind of power over me. This one did, but yeah.
It's when a movie like really makes me think about it. Like, I think of things like The Witch. I think of like fucking Arrival. Arrival is one of those movies that fucking destroyed me on a personal level, and I've talked about it in here before. But it's like because like all that shit, and like if a movie leaves you thinking about it and going, "What was that?" And I
didn't know it was gonna be like that. Like, I saw it in a packed theater. I went by myself. I was having some like turmoil at home at the time. My bass player and his wife were right behind me randomly in the same theater at the same time. And then I'm just sitting there literally bawling in the theater going, "What the fuck? What is this?"
Yeah. Dude, my sales pitch for Arrival was, "Hey, you know that opening scene of Up? Oh, we're going to turn that up to like 11." And then you go from there. And then the ending of that movie where it wraps back around and is the biggest gut punch of all film. It's so crazy. And but like all that stuff, when they leave you thinking about. Yeah. And so any movie that does that and just leaves that, like, makes you think about it, and it makes you like, Mia Goth is fucking amazing. I mean, whenever Maxine comes out, we will be enjoying the shit out of that. And Cronenberg's, I mean, I think he's done Cronenberg. He's just killed it with all 3 of his films. And I don't know how much, I don't think this made very much money because it was marketed oddly, and his movies are odd in general, right? So, but like, I will.
He's hard to fit in a box, and when it's a studio film to boot, and has actors that are doing really well in their own, respects, it doesn't fit into the mold at all. This movie, it's very standalone. And what are you gonna emphasize in a trailer? Like, because this is fucking weird, and you can't use the normal copy paste on this one whatsoever. You have to see it, and
remember us talking about it at the end when we're like how many times and how many, like, you start like adding up, and then like the end. I think of like a lot of the scenes at the very end before they go back, and like you're like, huh? Like the dog version of Skarsgård, like she's walking around like on a leash. So that it's just a fucking wild movie, and like one of those things that like I think I've thought about, like when looking over those lists. I'm like, it's just a wild movie, and it's just cool. Like, this is what I love about Cronenberg, man. Is he makes cool movies, and this is another one, man. So yep, that's my number 3.
The son. Let's get that. His son is the real film.
A Cronenberg.
A Cronenberg. Oh, number 3, Kin Styles.
Number 3. Okay, so I will say that I did choose the Boogeyman for a lot of different reasons. If I had remembered Talk to Me, it would have gone here as well somehow. But Boogeyman, I really enjoyed it. I thought that it did a great job of actually playing on fears, both child and adult, unlike some other movie. Anyway, I thought that they did a great job with it. It's King related, so of course I'm gonna fangirl over it pretty hard, but I loved some of the twists and turns. I felt that it wasn't as predictable as a lot of people thought it was gonna be. I really enjoyed it. I love the actors and the actresses in it as well. The little girl is phenomenal. I know she's in a ton of stuff now, but I
Yeah.
really enjoyed it.
I feel like
I-
this was one of those movies on my list that was like it was teetering. Like my honorable mention movie, well, I guess I could just say it now, was Infinity Pool. And that is just like the one. But this one, Infinity Pool and Scream or something were like teetering at that point of like just that number one spot of honorable mention, but what's going to be that number 5 spot? And it's weird that Influencer took the cake for me on it. It was just, it's because of my unique fucked up situation. I was like, it has to be on my list because
Yeah.
it's so fucking terrifying when it's happening to you.
No, I think because I will say now one of my honorable mentions was Cobweb, and it's like it's like the two sides of that same coin. That
Yeah.
the same kind of PG-13 horror focused on children and like how they see the world and stuff. And the Cobweb just drops the ball, like I was talking about, just drops that ball in the third act so hard. And while you have like
That was
scene
just
with the
on
little
top, just outside, because Boogeyman, I feel like, was very similar to Cobweb, and
Yeah.
it did it better. Other than I don't know, like I think the thing that these types of movies do wrong is showing the monster. Like if they just didn't show it at all and only showed just the thing coming out or whatever, it's so much better until you see it. And once you see it, it didn't. It does the Signs thing. Like Signs was so good up until, and I felt the same way with this movie. I was blown away with some of the fucking jump scares that got me in this movie.
Yeah.
Like full got me. I was like, "Fuck, you win,
Dude.
you win."
That ball scene where she drops the ball under the bed is fucking horrifying. Like what it was like one of those like, and
It was
I
some
think
of the
they
most
did-
violent jump scares because they were loud and fast and in your face. And most
Yeah.
horror movies,
well they
don't do
earn
it like
them.
that.
They're
Yeah.
they just try to like play loud noises. And it's funny because you had this movie in Cobweb and you go, which one's the Stephen King one? The one that doesn't have a shitty ending? Fucking Cobweb.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I think I appreciate it, Ken. Like I said, I think outside my top like 2, you could come back to me in a different day and you would get a different list from me, like depending on when, because there's a lot of really good movies, but like horror movies, but like there weren't as many standouts like there were last year. I think my like the top 2 are really, they do stand out, but like so
Well, what's your number 2, Kin? Number 2.
Number 2, I had Evil Dead Rise for my number 2. I was a sucker for the eyeball scene. Sucker, because the eyeball gets sucked out. I really, really enjoyed it. I thought it was a nice sticking with the franchise, but giving it a nice refresher and bringing it into this generation and can I just saw the glass eating scene. Yeah, it was great. I really enjoyed it. It made me very uncomfortable in all the best ways. I definitely enjoyed it.
And I love that poster was because of this show. We were talking about it, and then Rod was like, "Oh, you got to make a poster with the cheese grater," and I was like, "Oh,
Yeah.
fuck yeah!" So I did it instantly, and
yeah.
I was the first one out of the gate that did the cheese grater poster because everyone else did one, and then they actually commissioned Creepy Duck to do the one that I did after the fact. So
Yeah.
mine just got buried so quick.
Yeah. But you did it first, man. And
And
like,
honestly, I like mine better. And I have
Yeah.
not been able to say that against a Creepy Duck design like often at all. So
yeah, the thing like I haven't seen him do as much lately, and like a lot of it is
He's-
like
he did the fucking like every movie we've seen, he did the actual poster for the movie, dude.
yeah.
Like he did the poster for that Christmas horror.
It's a Wonderful Knife.
Yeah, he did that.
Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, that's cool, man. That dude is so talented.
Like he's being commissioned for everything now. So like when you don't even know he's done it, he's done it.
Yeah. Well, you could go to my number 2, Josh, because
Number 2.
Oh, wait, no, that's Kin. Oh, there we go. Rad. Oh, so Rod's list has 2 that overlap with other people. Our 4 and your guys' is 2.
Yeah.
Just docking.
Docking.
I mean, The Evil Dead is such a like iconic series for horror, and it's a weird series in a lot of ways. I mean, Josh just talked about it. He wore out his Army of Darkness tape. You have the first movie is a prime example of what a young, like kind of like really like thirsty filmmaker can do, and like that it's just like it's why like Peter Jackson I find vastly superior when he was making Dead Alive and shit compared to like I think the Lord of the Rings kind of killed his ability to like put passion in films. But Evil Dead Rise, man, it's just they take a concept like Josh talked about and they change the scenery and Ken, you're talking about dude just moving around and just make something really cool. And like you think about a skyscraper, I mean not even it's an apartment complex, and how they changed it and made it still feel like give you that Evil Dead feeling of like being claustrophobic and but the movie has like some the cringiest scenes like in like you just kind of like not like cringe like the glass, the eating the glass and then like it just sticking out of the neck, the cheese grater, which I still wish they hadn't showed in the fucking trailers.
My favorite's
just,
still the when he's coming towards and he's got the like what was it called? The Barbie on a stick thing.
Oh God, what was
Shrimp on
that
a
thing's
Barbie?
name?
No, it was really good. It was Staffany or something.
Yeah.
Staffany. Yeah,
Yeah.
so fucking
Oh,
good.
yeah.
And like
Yeah.
best kill, I think goes
And-
there.
Dude, and the mother coming out of the fucking vent.
I can't wait to meet her too. She's coming this year
Yeah.
as well, so it's gonna be a
She's
good.
very
year.
Isn't she? I think she's Australian or something like that, or British or something. Like, she's not from America.
Neither am
but,
I.
like, you're Canadian, eh? But it's such a like it does what Evil Dead does just in perfect way and just fucking kills it. And it's just like I said earlier, practical effects is just so important. Yeah, and they killed the little kid in that movie, right? So it's like
they don't
another
give
thing.
a
It's
fuck.
like yeah,
But also like that, like so many things were just like super done right, and I feel like Evil Dead knows how to like come into a scene and emphasize what is about to happen and have that like kind of cool, like hip way of anticipating something, whereas a lot of other movies don't do that as much. It's not like, oh fuck, we're about to get it. It's like they try and be sneaky about it or something else, which, it's doing different things. But Evil Dead stays true to its form by doing those type of things. And I don't know. I just remember like right before and we're like, oh, fuck, no. Like, yes, this is so good, which is good.
Dude, I mean, they did so many things they could have dropped the ball on. Even like the fucking Necronomicon that they use in this one was with those long, skinny teeth that are just fucking creepy as fuck. And like,
but this is the first time we're
version.
seeing the other book. Like it was talked about in the other movies. We never saw it. And now we're being introduced to the book itself, which is great.
Oh, yeah. And now, like they talked about it, they're going to do one every 2 to 3 years, and just do like small ones like this, and just
I'm
keep doing
so
it, like,
into it. I'm so.
I think that's a great idea.
Well, I mean, it's like what John Carpenter wanted to do with Halloween, right? But like he never wanted to make 2. He wanted to go along the routes of 3, where it was like an anthology film, but like. You've done fucked up. You made too much of an iconic character in the process.
He's on my leg now.
Yeah, he is.
All right. My number two. Like I said, I wanted to wait and hold off because my number 2 is Evil When Evil Lurks. And this one, it this one I was thinking about. Like, I think this is what or why and how movies have to make my list. If they stay with me and are just like cloaked. This movie like cloaked itself on me, and it couldn't get it off for days and days in like such a metal way. Like it made me just think about all the things it did right with, like when you come up with, especially in like the possession and that type of like subgenre of horror, if there's going to be rules, to come up with those rules and follow them, this movie came up with like some of the coolest rules and showed the repercussions of not following them. And that's when that's pretty much the whole movie. If you do not follow these rules, it's going to fuck everything up. And it's because it was foreign, even if there was bad acting or whatever, it hides it, and it lets this creepy, amazing thing live more. And I feel like there's a lot of like decisions that were made because it was foreign that they wouldn't have pretty much been able to make if it was done in North America. And I feel like all those things really add to just how horrific, and they don't, when they're like not even scared to take out kids in the way they do in this movie. Fuck, it's so metal, it's crazy. Number 2 for a reason. It was so close. It's teetering. Number 1 and number 2. Like ever since I saw it was like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, it's number 1 this week. Oh wait, no, it's not. So wow.
I think there's
It was
a
a
lot
close
of
one.
really like hardcore horror that came out this year. Like, I mean, we're talking about it. Like, there's like When Evil Lurks and Evil Dead Rise, and like, it's just like a lot of really metal things. It's just like, yeah, you just embrace it. And I like most of that stuff did really well in the theaters, while these big $200 million epics are not making money. So you're like, it's Marvel, like, I mean, it's capitalism 101 in America, especially, where you don't ever let the golden goose die. You strangle it yourself. Like, you don't let it like just fade into oblivion. You choke it to death, and you go, "No, you will," and that's what they've done, man. And so, like,
did you watch the Golden Globes, or do you ever watch that type of stuff? I don't know. I did. I checked it
I
out
watched
last night.
a little bit of it.
It's, I don't know. It doesn't have the same impact it once did. Like I think now that I cut the cable a long time ago, but I feel like the more time goes on, the less that like world is really as influential as it once was. Like, yes, these all these actors are still like a big deal, whatever. But it used to be this like really sought after like club that everyone was like in awe of, and now it's like, yeah, you guys are just kind of over there, and you can be in your like corner, and the rest of the world really cares about online now, like, and online celebrity, even though it's only online famous, it's a way bigger world than a lot of people really understand.
Yeah, it was definitely like when I was watching it, you could tell it was so clicky. It was so like, okay, yeah, it's just this group, like whatever.
It really
felt
like
weird.
that.
Well, and you think about it too, it's like they're bullshit like opinions, and not all of them are bullshit, but like we live in a world where Five Nights at Freddy's is Blumhouse's most like, a movie that got shit on by everyone, and yet still made all the money when they could just stay at home and watch it. Yeah, it made so much money. It was over $250 million the last time I saw.
Fuck.
And you could watch it. You didn't have to go to the theater to see it. Yeah.
That's so
cool.
Like,
it's all about like what people want, man. And it's like we have these things where like video game movies are starting to be like more high quality. Not saying Five Nights at Freddy's, but like if you don't know, Five Nights at Freddy's they're not great games either. So
it didn't make it wouldn't even come close to making my honorable mention. It was just whatever we're talking. All right.
It had issues, but yeah.
So my number 1, number 1, it's Talk to Me, and I think your number 1 as well, right, Rod? So it's just
it
like
is, indeed.
yeah. So we are.
My whole list should have been shuffled.
Number one. We are both number one. All right, I got to turn those off. Yeah,
Dude.
it hit so fucking hard. Like it hit, it resonated. I don't know, because it was something I could also anticipate that tie into. Randomly, I was a fan of their YouTube channel before I even knew they were making this movie. I knew they were making a movie. I didn't know it was this movie. And then I heard about this movie separately and was like, that looks dope. And then found out they did it and was like, holy shit. So I was like anticipating this for so long without even anticipating it directly. And so I think that added to the hype for me. And then seeing it and it actually being as fucking good as it was, I was like, holy shit. And I had a boner for at least a week and a half because of it. No.
Well, I mean that, and like, dude, this movie is like so personal for you in other ways, Josh, because it's these YouTubers who go out and got to make this really fucking like cool movie, and it's just like, it's a cool.
It's my dream.
It's A24. I mean, it's A24, man. When you get picked up and bought by A24, that's a pretty cool. Like,
it's such a Cinderella story, and I have like a literal boner for this movie because of that.
Dude.
It's like I adore that Cinderella story. It's always my favorite. But when it's actually a good fucking movie, and then you get the internet being just as like defensive, and then the complete opposite. It's just like the hype, fuck. It's just all hype. Who gives a fuck? Fuck the hype. And it's like, no, the hype is real. It is real.
I think a lot of people, we talked about like we're just talking about Drag Me to Hell. The ending of this movie is very like, it's a downer ending, just like Drag Me to Hell. But like, the two scenes in this movie,
I'm all about it. I loved The Mist, and no one else will ever say they love The Mist.
Dude, I love The Mist. I have the black and white version on Blu-ray. It's fucking perfect. I love that movie, and it's like the first time you see that movie, you're just like,
I love that I sent that meme to you, and you're just like, oh my God. How impatient are you? This impatient.
Yes. But like,
so bad.
The two scenes with the little brother just like slamming his head into shit are so fucking metal. Like, we talked about metal. It's like the top of metal in a movie where we had a pit bull carry off a toddler like it was
and a mom eating her son's brain as like a popcorn.
Like popcorn bucket head.
Got all about that. God dang it.
Ken, you were the one who came up with popcorn bucket head too.
That movie was so good. It was so good.
Yeah.
I got my brains.
You have also, the thing is too, like, it was a bunch of actors nobody knew about because they're all Australian. And it's such a like, it's a Rocky movie, right, man? It's like these underdogs who go out and do something really fucking cool and killed it. And the premise is just like another. We keep talking about it, these movies that make you feel like they're lived in. And you know what? Like, you know what else is cool? Let's be honest. Like, how many of us there's like one sequel in any of our top fives? Like Evil Dead Rise.
Mm-hmm.
We guess what? We picked a bunch of fucking non-sequel movies to enjoy and like celebrate this year, which is fucking great,
original. Man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I'm cool with that. Josh, anything else you want to say? This movie is awesome. I love it.
It's just yeah. All right, Kin on her own in the number one spot.
Infinity Pool. I mean, you had to know it was going to be on the list somewhere. Let's be honest. I obsessively talked about this. Well, on my list, because I obsessively talked about this movie for like a month after the fact and was like deep diving in. And I love the idea of a copy of a copy of a copy no longer being the actual person. Like, did the real one get swapped out? Does it even matter at that point? Oh, it's so good. Mia Goth, I absolutely love. She is stunning and so talented. So you've got a Skarsgård brother in there, so immediately also sold. But I mean, I thought it was great. I really enjoyed it. It stuck with me. Um, yeah, if you haven't watched it, go watch it. Be very uncomfortable the whole time.
Here's your
It's
honor. Your honorable mention. Woo!
One of my honorable mentions was definitely Renfield. Mainly because it was such a blast and it was a lot of fun. It wasn't
I
really
love that was
scary.
on your list. I fucking totally forgot about that one. Holy shit.
Yeah,
Like,
that one was definitely up
completely
there.
forgot about it. Like, I love comedy horror. It's hard for comedy horror unless it's like a complete standout year like Shaun of the Dead or something. Like, I think that would have been like my top that year of like anything. And this one was so fun. Nick Cage,
Yeah.
but it just in a year that had this many it's very metal year for horror.
Yeah.
Like whereas
Dude.
last year was just like just bangers, like just
Yeah.
like not metal, but just like wow.
Yeah. I mean, dude, our mascot for a long time was Psycho Goreman, and it's just horror comedy done perfectly, right? So it's like
Mm-hmm.
that's Renfield's on my honorable mentions too. I think that I love that movie. I played that game. I played.
Your number one honorable was Screams, so I put up my poster.
I mean, you can do that. I think that like I had 5, and Scream 6 was on there. It's a Wonderful Knife. I had a blast with. Beau's Afraid. Completely fucking. That movie is wild and weird, and I really enjoyed Ari Aster doing something crazy. Cobweb was on mine because Cobweb and Scream 6 are 2 movies I feel like are very similar, that like they just completely dropped the ball in the third act, but I still had fun with them. And then Renfield. I think
I don't know what did I put on. Oh yeah, Infinity Pool. So it's better that it was my honorable mention because it's your number one, so we can just dive in to the Infinity Pool. As deep as we want to go. I love that you said a copy of a copy of a copy isn't the. I never thought about it like that. That makes it so much more interesting to me because I was watching it, really enjoyed it, and it was such a wild ride.
Yeah.
I honestly, until I saw your guys' list, didn't really think about it after that. And I think his father has made me not like his name so much that as soon as I saw his name, I was like, it's not going on my list because of that name. I'm like,
because it's a Cronenberg.
Yeah, Cronenberg.
I think like as there's still a lot of his catalog I haven't watched, but like Scanners has such an iconic thing, right? Like with the I still think my favorite Cronenberg's movie is The Fly. The Fly is fucking perfect.
Yes.
It's such,
that was
it's
a fun one to dive into as well.
Yeah, it's such a heartbreaking story too. And it's very much like things like Frankenstein, right? But yeah, it just his son obviously has learned a lot from his dad, and just like Joe Hill like learns a lot from Stephen King and just does cool things, right? And so I think that there was a lot of just really cool horror in this movie. Ken, go.
Sidebar, can we take a moment and just appreciate the fact that Stephen King named his son Joe King? Moving on.
Nah.
I'm sure it's Joseph, but
is his last name really King though? Like, is it legally King?
I believe it was, and then Hill is his pen name, but I'm not positive.
That's why he writes as Joe Hill, right? Because he didn't want to be associated with his dad when he was writing. But like, yeah, it's that's pretty funny though, Joe King.
So, is there anything like as we like wrap up the last year movies, is there anything that is a standout for you guys for this upcoming year for horror?
Man, I want to see Nosferatu.
Yeah, I think that's my number one anticipated movie. I can't believe
or Joe Hill.
Yeah,
I can't believe they're remaking Speak No Evil in English, or like they're just remaking it a year after the fucking movie came out.
Dude, I feel like we need to do that movie on this podcast.
I've heard it's just grim as hell. And even to hear that is a huge spoiler. And I was talking to Dan, the creator of the Calgary Horror Con, and he's just like, who the fuck told you that? that is such a spoiler, and I'm totally mad at them for even telling you that. Like, I'm like, I don't know anything else other than it's grim as shit. And he's like, yeah, it is, and it's not a fun time, but watch it.
I mean, that Maxine, I really want to
Yeah,
see Maxine.
I'm ready
when
for
Maxine
Maxine.
comes out.
Terrifier 3
Um,
as well. I'm totally into. What? So
I
we're
ho-
getting
I-
3 Strangers movies all in 1 year? Is that fucking?
Yeah,
for
they
real?
shot them all back to back.
But why would
so
you?
like
They're doing the. I don't know. That's kind of a weird thing to do.
I don't know, man. Like, but I prefer it than the bullshit of splitting apart movies that like Hollywood did last year. I mean, like we had that Fast Furious, Fast X did that shit. I'm just tired. Do a story. Like, it's funny because like one of my favorite
The
movies
Spider-Man
overall,
Spider-Verse did it too,
Yeah.
and I was really disappointed in that.
but they did that in a. It felt like they earned it on like Fast X. Fast X just seems like they
I don't
just
know. I
stopped.
could
don't-
feel like the halfway mark to the end. It all of a sudden switched to this is not going to wrap up. This is just a commercial for the next movie now, which
Yeah.
sucks.
I have to say though too, I watched Barbie over the weekend, and that movie is fucking
For the
amazing.
first time?
And yeah, I'd never seen it.
I still
And
haven't watched it.
So fun. I went the Thursday before it came out. Type whatever.
Yeah,
So fun.
but dude, the speech at the very end of that movie
Perfect.
and the point they make about Ken is just smacked me in the fucking face with everything I was going through last year and now and still. And it's just, it's a movie that fucking took something that's silly in a Barbie doll and made it really relevant and like says so much about individuality and what we are as human beings, and which is fucking not something I would have guessed like a year ago that like the Barbie movie was going to be so fucking relevant. Margot Robbie is fucking amazing, and Gosling I've had a giant crush on since fucking Drive. But it is.
I just
wanted to say that
rewatched
movie-
Drive. It's still just as good.
Yeah.
Wait, we're getting a Smile 2 this year too? Nice.
Yeah.
I'm into
I don't
it.
know when that's coming out. I hope it's self-contained. I mean, they obviously can't. They could do the dude that. What was that other movie we are going to talk about with him? The Smile guy. That like we did one of his
oh
movies.
shit, that's right.
Though we did that on the podcast this year, which I almost think we could have talked about that on our list. The one where his wife was like possessed for like, or her mother or his mother. Was it his mother? Or something like that?
Wait, was that the one where like his girlfriend was possessed by the spirit of his mother?
Yeah, and then there was another movie we were gonna do by him and with that actor in it, and we never did it. But I forget what the other one was called, because the other one was like the Josh. I saw that on someone's movie list about he's like going on a. It kind of sounded like that movie with Tom Cruise and Jamie Foxx, where like he's going out killing people and he drags this other dude around. So, okay. I don't know about next week. Do you guys have any? Josh is gonna be gone for a couple weeks, I think, at least. So, I don't know. Ken, do you have anything you want to do, or we could just go out and?
I can't go anywhere right now to see anything. So.
I mean, yeah, obviously, there's nothing in theaters that I give a shit about because Night Pool is supposed to be
Night Swim.
Yeah.
Night Swim.
Or Night Swim, whatever. Okay, we'll just tweet it out unless there's something you have in mind.
Did you guys ever do A Good Woman Is Hard to Find?
Oh yeah, that's the one we keep telling you about. Yes, A Good Woman.
Yeah.
Is hard
Okay.
to find.
So you guys have already done it.
Yeah.
Okay. 'Cause I was gonna watch
Anxiety.
it, but I can. But yeah.
Dude, that
okay.
movie-
Yeah. Let's talk about it and figure it out.
Oh yeah, we'll figure it out. Okay. Well, it was another great year of movies, and I had a blast doing everything with you two wonderful people. Yeah, and Ken and I, maybe we could pull someone in to come do shit with us, but I don't know. While Josh is gone for a little bit, Josh is taking a meditation break.
A well-deserved
He needs
meditation
it.
break.
Yes, it is very well
Yes.
deserved. So, okay, you motherfuckers. I guess we'll catch you guys next And we'll catch you guys next week, and we'll tweet out what we're gonna do, and I'll figure it out. So we'll figure it out. So okay, everybody, thank you, Josh. You enjoy yourself, get some rest, do some things, and yeah. Let's go over the things real quick. Murdermoose.com. Go to YouTube and find us there. Just search Murder Moose Podcast. Kintinue.com and Joshwrb.com. So, and you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram and all of the stuff at Rod_Johnston. So, Josh is making funny talk to me hand signs things. So.
It's the best movie of the year.
They're doing a sequel to that too, aren't they?
Of course.
Yeah.
It got greenlit like right away.
Okay, we will catch you guys next week. Have a good time. We love you. And happy 2024, motherfuckers. Bye.
Bye.